Just ahead on CTV News, the county fire chief addresses staffing concerns, and the council member honors veterans in a glamorous style. Plus,
Gaylord National has transformed their facility into a winter wonderland and a Charlie Brown experience. I'm Bryce Parker. We'll have more coming up on CTV News.
Those stories and more on CTV News, starting now.
Good evening, this is CTV News for November 15th. I'm Michaela Newton. Thanks so much for joining us. Well, the top name in Prince George's County economic development is retiring after a 40-year-long career in public service. David Iannucci has been president and CEO of the County Economic Development Corporation since 2018, but he announced this week he will be resigning effective December 31st. Now, in his time in the position, Iannucci has brought major developments to the county, including the selection of Greenbelt as a site for the next FBI headquarters and adding more jobs than any other Maryland county between 2011 and 2021. His permanent replacement likely won't be chosen until a new county executive takes office. Meanwhile, communities around the county have been voicing concerns for months about shortages in the fire and EMS department. Fire Chief Tiffany Green addressed those shortages in a county council meeting Thursday. The Prince George's Fire Department has a shortage of more than 250 firefighters. And last summer, the department relocated 55 firefighters from 4 stations in the county to fill some of those vacancies. But even that plan has caused concerns and is proving to not be as temporary as once thought.
We saw a drastic increase in firefighters and paramedics that were leaving this field. Our attrition in 2020 was 28 a year. We were losing 28 firefighters a year. We are now up to 66 for this calendar year. The reallocation of career staffing from Station 814, 835, 839, and 855 will continue to prevent an increase in the staffing deficit. To address some operational concerns, we added a 3rd peak unit to Greenbelt, making that a total of 2 EMS units assigned to Greenbelt and 1 in Bunker Hill. This placed more EMS resources in the Greenbelt community than it had before the reallocation of career firefighters and paramedics.
And Chief Green said the department has permission from the county executive to hire 150 new firefighters. And today, Council member Wanika Fisher hosted her 2nd annual Senior Bling Appreciation Reception. The event comes just days after the County Council passed a new senior property tax credit bill that Fisher said concerns seniors in her district.
A lot of my seniors won't qualify due to the home value price. That bill says that you only qualify if your house is less than $500,000 in value. My district, as I said in the hearing, and I'll keep saying it, my district borders DC. Very few homes you can buy less than $500,000. Most seniors are struggling because they're on fixed income. Between inflation, the cost of groceries, the cost of prescription drugs, all of those things are concerning, and a lot of my seniors are worried about the Trump administration. But I know that we'll work together, we'll continue to fight, and we'll make a way forward so that they can age in place.
Get to meet people and learn what's going on in the community and how our council people really help us in this particular area. We've had some issues and they've stepped right up to the plate to resolve them.
And the senior tax credit bill still has to be signed by the county executive, who can also veto. And a Damascus man is in custody in Montgomery County for rape and sexual abuse of 3 juvenile females. 28-year-old Irvin Ariel Portillo was investigated by the Special Victims Investigation Division and charged with 2nd-degree rape and 3rd-degree sexual offense. Now, SVID detectives believe there may be more victims and are urging anyone with information or who may be a victim of Portillo to contact detectives at 240-773-5400. And a major legal reversal in Montgomery County, an appellate court has vacated a man's 1st-degree assault conviction, citing flawed jury instructions in his trial. Wallace Lewis, convicted of stabbing Aaron Davis in 2020, will get a new trial after Maryland's appellate court ruled that jury instructions in his case were legally incorrect. Now, the lower court had allowed the jury to convict Lewis based on recklessness, even though 1st-degree assault requires intent. Lewis's attorney praised the decision, calling it a win for fair trials. But for now, Lewis's 25-year sentence is off the books, and his case heads back to Montgomery County for further proceedings. And there's a lot of movement in Maryland as people line up to become the next federal prosecutor under President Trump. A top contender is Andrew C. White, a well-known Baltimore lawyer whose firm represented Trump in the investigation over classified documents. But White isn't the only one vying for the job. According to the Daily Record, former Maryland GOP candidate Dan Cox, a Trump loyalist, has also thrown his hat in the ring. And Republicans are poised to reshape Washington, holding on to the House and flipping the Senate when the new session of Congress reconvenes in January. Now, this historic shift, coupled with President-elect Donald Trump's return to the White House, could lead to sweeping policy changes from tax cuts to border security. GOP leaders like Speaker Mike Johnson and incoming Senate Majority Leader John Thune say they're ready to advance a, quote, America First agenda, tackling inflation, energy independence, and education reform. But with razor-thin margins in the House, the next 2 years promise intense negotiations and high-stakes decisions. And the U.S. military is facing a troubling trend that continues to haunt its rankings. According to a new Defense Department report, suicides in the military rose again in 2023 with 523 reported deaths, up from 493 the previous year. Now, Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin calls the rise in suicides a wake-up call and is urging stronger reports on mental health and suicide prevention. Young male enlisted troops remain the most affected, with firearms the leading method. Now, last year, a commission recommended stricter gun safety measures, but the Pentagon opted for education and incentives instead. But if you or someone you know needs help, make sure you call or text the National Suicide and Crisis Lifeline at 988. And you're watching CTV News. I'm Michaela Newton. Still to come, looking for something to do this weekend? Well, a local art gallery is bringing attention to Black artists. I'll have that story and more after the break.
1, 2, 3.
Dangers rarely lie out in the open. So no matter where you live, it's important to know harmful pests can hide in and around your home.
Ready or not, here I come.
Termites can destroy wood, making your home unstable. And stinging insects can be easily agitated, inflicting painful stings.
I know you're out here.
Rodents and cockroaches are drawn to food waste and garbage, while ticks lurk in tall grasses looking for hosts, and mosquitoes lay eggs in standing water.
I can hear you.
Rodents, ticks, and mosquitoes can all spread dangerous diseases, and cockroaches can leave behind allergens that trigger asthma attacks.
I gotcha. Oh, man.
Seek the facts you need to keep your family healthy at pestworld.org.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Welcome back. Maryland hospitals received grades with 11 earning an A. The nonprofit Leapfrog Group released their latest hospital grades today, ranging from A to F for 3,000 hospitals. Now, the grades are based on how well the hospitals prevent medical errors, accidents, and infections. 15 Maryland hospitals earned B's and C's, with none earning D's and F's. And Prince George's Advances Healthcare in Fort Washington earned a B, while the rest in the county earned a C. And can your utilities be cut off during winter? Well, the short answer is yes, but there are restrictions. From November to March, utilities can't shut off service if the forecast shows temperatures at or below 32 degrees for the next 72 hours. They also can't shut off service if your gas or electric bill is $200 or less, or if your combined bill is $300 or less. And if you think your service was wrongfully disconnected, you can contact the Public Service Commission at 410-767-8028. And meanwhile, the season of giving is just around the corner, and if you're looking for a way to get into the holiday spirit, Gaylord National has exactly what you need. CTV's Bryce Parker has more.
We like to create what we call emotional souvenirs. You know, when a family can come up here and 10 years later say, God, remember when we went to Gaylord National and saw that really cool Peanuts ice exhibit? That's what we're trying to go for, and I think we hit the ball out of the park this year.
Christmas at Gaylord National has finally arrived this season, filled with holiday-themed activities for all to enjoy.
Christmas at Gaylord National is the premier destination for the holidays in the DMV region and even beyond, right? You're never going to get another place that's like this for Christmas. And if you live close enough to drive or even take a small family trip for the weekend, this is the place to go.
You can build a gingerbread house. You can tube down a mountain. You can have story time with Mrs. Claus, get a picture with Santa. There's so many things to do. Our catchphrase is so much Christmas.
In addition to Christmas Village, Gaylord National offers 2 shows to its visitors. But when you ask, what's the main event?
It's got to be ice. Ice is absolutely the centerpiece of what we do here.
We bring in 37 carvers from Harbin, China. They spend 33 days carving this show. They take 6,300-pound blocks of ice. It's about 2 million pounds of ice to come and carve this show every year.
And this year's theme is a childhood favorite that carries all the nostalgia.
The Charlie Brown Christmas Special is what it is. And we've got 12 scenes from that show. And you can see all of the highlights of the show. You can see Charlie Brown ice skating. You can see them at the psychiatric. And then in the center of the show, we have a 2-story slide room. That is the scene where they're doing the rehearsal for the play. And then at the very end, we also have the full nativity scene that's always a highlight every year.
Whether you want this to be an experience as a date night or a family outing, this is an experience that you can have frozen in time. Reporting from the National Harbor, I'm Bryce Parker, CTV News.
All fun stuff there. Bryce, thanks so much. Even if you are not in the area during the holiday season, you can experience Christmas at the Gaylord at any Gaylord locations across the country. Meanwhile, Thanksgiving is just a couple of weeks away, so now is the time to start planning. For those who don't want the hassle of cooking or cleaning up after a big turkey dinner, several restaurants across Prince George's will be open on Thanksgiving Day. Down at the Harbor, McCormick and Schmick's Seafood, Succotash, and Bond 45 will be open, but it may be best to make reservations. Other restaurants like Applebee's, Buffalo Wild Wings, and Red Lobster will also be open, but hours may vary by location. And one local art gallery is making it their business to make sure that African-American artists get the recognition they deserve. I spoke with owners about their very important mission. Take a look.
Looking for art to represent us ourselves, we knew that the community must need it as well.
The name Overdue Recognition Art Gallery speaks for itself.
We go to look for art, and it was a struggle. Just find, good, fine black art.
When my husband and I started having a family many years ago, 20 years ago, we were looking in the DMV for art to have in our home for our children, art that looked like us, and we couldn't find any.
Located in Bowie Town Center, it's the home to all African-American art.
We get hundreds of submissions a year of artists that want to be in the gallery, and most of them are mid-career, but we do have some master artists here as well.
They sell everything from fine art reproductions to original work and oil and acrylic pieces. The Thompsons say part of their mission is to be a part of the community, and they're doing just that.
We have artists come in about twice a year and, do a kind of showing for them. So a lot of the people like to meet the artists themselves.
One of their goals is to continue educating the community and investing in art.
We have a thing called Art in the Afternoon. We talk about collecting, the value of it, the resale value of it, just kind of an education component to it. To kind of let them know that this is possible to do this and thrive and make a living doing this was one of the things that, too, we tried to address.
And the business recently celebrated their 20th anniversary this month. Well, in good news, all dog adoptions at the Prince George's County Animal Shelter are reopened. Staff at the shelter recently stopped all dog adoptions and viewings because of an undetermined illness affecting the dogs. The shelter says they were able to initiate protocols to stop the spread of the disease before it reached other animals. Officials say they are still over capacity and encourage people to get these animals in a forever home. And still to come on CTV News, our cybersecurity analyst, Dr. Kellett Charles, is back with tips to keep you safe online this holiday season. We'll be right back.
We hear the stories of people forced to abandon their home. The stories of people whose dreams have been swept away, or their lives left hanging by a thread. Or whose worlds have been blasted apart. Although the stories repeat themselves, each person's experience is unique, as unique as they are. And whether it's care or community that people need, we're here to help them live a new chapter, to embrace what makes them unique, be a lifeline to the most vulnerable.
Out! Out! Everybody out! Come on!
Good job. Under 2 minutes.
Keep your loved ones safe from home fires. Practice a 2-minute drill until it's part of your routine. And test your smoke alarms monthly.
In America, millions of families are facing hunger.
After rent and power, I can get groceries. It's sad to say food comes last. Anna from Texas. The Feeding America network of food banks helps provide over 6 billion meals to people in need each year. Together, we can end hunger. Learn more at feedingamerica.org.
As Black Friday and Cyber Monday approach, online shopping kicks into high gear, drawing not only eager shoppers, but also cyber criminals looking to exploit the busy season. Now, according to a NordVPN survey, around 34 million Americans have been scammed during Black Friday or Cyber Monday. And to help keep you or your wallet safe this holiday season, it's CTV's cybersecurity analyst, Dr. Caleb Charles. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
So why is it important to shop only on those trusted websites versus some of those other maybe not so safe websites?
Yeah, so hackers have a technique called scraping. And basically with scraping, you're able to scrape a website of a particular vendor. And in doing so, that's the beginning of a phishing technique, that they'll send a link, say, hey, 50% off a TV. And when you go to that particular website, you're not actually on the vendor's website. So one of the things that we recommend is that whenever you go to a particular website, you want to make sure that the URL at the top has the moniker of HTTPS in the beginning. If it's just HTTP, then it's not a secured website. So one of the things that we kind of play around with words is that HTTPS with the S means that the website is secure, and you should feel confident to put your personal information and your financial information on that website and know that you should be safe.
Absolutely. And sometimes during the holiday season, you'll start getting emails and even text messages. But how do you know that something is a phishing email or text message? How do you stay away from those?
Yeah, so one of the first signs is to check the spelling and the grammar. But with generative AI, that has become a little tougher to indicate, because someone could just say, hey, ChatGPT, write me this particular email or text message. But other things that you could do is that you could look at the URL link, and if the URL link seems kind of suspicious, that would be one indicator. And also the message. The message might have an urgent persona to it, saying that hurry up and buy this in the next 24 hours to get 50% off. So we always recommend that you go on the actual website to make sure that you're not getting caught on a phishing scam.
Absolutely. Sometimes you may use a public Wi-Fi. Are there risks with using public Wi-Fi when you're shopping, and what are some of those risks? Yeah,
so one of the big ones is called man in the middle. This is where you use software to fake a particular access point, and in doing so, someone can take your information, load it on their computer, and send it off to the reputable website. So we always recommend that you use a VPN, because the VPN will provide protection from your laptop, from your device, to the destination that you're trying to get access to. So if there is someone in the middle, that information will be encrypted, and again, your information will be protected.
And one of the things that you kind of have to talk about is like the password managers. So how can that help improve just some online shopping security?
Yeah, so again, we always recommend that you have different passwords for your different online access. And it becomes very tough in trying to remember passwords from 10 different vendors as well as your personal passwords. So by using a password manager, you're able to save all your passwords for your different online shopping, and all you really need to remember is one main password to gain access to the particular tool. Something that's really nifty or cool is that you could have it on your cell phone, you could have it on your tablet, and you could also have it on your computer, and it should be able to sync. So again, if you're on your cell phone and you're away, or if you're at home, your password manager should work just the same.
Absolutely. And one of the things that I think that you can have to kind of be safer is the multi-factor authentication, just having that security around that. So how does that help?
Yeah. So when we talk about authentication, there's three forms. There's something you know, which is your password, something you have, which could be your mobile device, and something you are, which is biometric. The something with the password, if someone were to gain access to your password, a second form of authentication would be needed. And the goal is that you have your tablet with you or your phone with you, or you have your biometrics information with you. So to authenticate, you need to have multiple forms. And if the first one, which is the password, is something you know is compromised, at least you have the fallback with the something you have and the something you are to protect your online environment.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Really appreciate it.
Sure.
And remember, if a deal or promotion seems suspicious, trust your instincts and don't click, but make sure you have some safe shopping. And after the break, Simon Buggs has our Friday Sports page.
Home before sunrise, on top of the house, the kids, and our future. The smell of your cooking is our alarm clock. My Shiro's day is never done. So let's start saving a little more now so we can feel prepared for retirement. A free 3-minute online chat can give us the personalized tips we need so we can live our lives to the fullest. Visit aceyourretirement.org.
When I was 10, my mom got deported. We had a difficult time, and I feel that's why I didn't get to finish school. My husband is really supportive in a way that he pushed me to go back to school.
She wants to have a career so her kids can look up to her.
They both keep me motivated to go to school, and they see that if I do it, like they can do it too, you know? I feel that everything's possible.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
What's up, sports fans? It's finally time for your Friday Sports page. Now we begin with some disappointing news as my Washington Commanders were in action last night against a division rival in the Philadelphia Eagles. And the team lost their second straight game as Philly took down Washington 26-18. A big reason for the Commanders taking an L last night was because the team's offense has had a hard time generating points through most of the game.
We just weren't playing our game, man. We just weren't playing like we usually play when we're playing our style of ball, from start to finish. I really can't, point out, why we couldn't really get our, momentum going. But, it's a unit thing. We gotta get better. We gotta get better as a unit.
Expectations are high. One win or one loss feels like 5.
2 losses feels like 15 in a row. And so it's just part of the thing when your expectations are high for yourself and you're not able to pull it off, you're gonna hurt, it's gonna sting. And you gotta reflect, you gotta look in the mirror. These 10 days off are gonna be really good for us to look what we've been doing well and what we need to get better at and be able to attack going into the back half of the season, or the back however many games we have left. I don't think anyone is hitting the panic button, but at the same time, we got a lot to improve on to be the football team we want to be at the end of the year.
You know, we haven't been executing how we were before at the beginning half of the season, so we got to go back and, like I said, look ourselves in the mirror. How can we get better? How can we keep improving? It's a long season, so there's going to be ups and downs, but how can we fight through adversity?
Washington will take the field next against Dallas Cowboys on November 24th. All right, y'all, come on now. As bad as Dallas is, we got to beat them. All right. Meanwhile, another DMV team in the Baltimore Ravens return to action this weekend. The black and purple will go up against the black and gold as Baltimore will face off against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, this game won't be an easy one by any means, as this not only a division game, but also because of that dominant Steelers defense. And head coach John Harbaugh gave his thoughts on what makes this Steelers defense so elite.
Starts with the front guys, the pass rush, stopping the run. Then they play downhill from there with those guys. But you got to handle those guys, trying to make the play get over with quick. You know, they're a quick outcome type of a defense. That's what they strive for, and their guys understand it, and they do a good job.
Kickoff is on Sunday at 1 o'clock. Should be a good one. Moving on to the Major League, shout out to Orioles pitcher Corbin Burnes for being named to the All-MLB first team. This comes after Burnes went 15-9 with a 2.92 ERA, which ranks 7th among qualified pitchers. He also led the team in wins, starts, and strikeouts in his first season in B-More. The 4-time All-Star was acquired by the Birds in an offseason trade with the Milwaukee Brewers. Burnes and the rest of the team finished the season at 91-71 and got bounced in the first round of the playoffs by the Kansas City Royals. Now to the world of high school football, the Wise football squad will continue their quest to repeat as state champs tonight. The Pools will take the field against Bowie at 7 o'clock in a playoff matchup. And finally, be sure to tune in tomorrow, soccer fans, for the Washington Spirit semifinal playoff matchup. Washington will take the field against the defending champion, New York Gotham FC, at Audi Field in D.C. The game begins at noon. And that wraps up your Friday sports page.
All right, Simon, I know your Commanders didn't do the best, but is it time to hit the panic button on the Commander season?
Not yet, Michaela, not yet. Like I told you earlier, this team has already won 7 games. I feel like in order to make the playoffs, we have to win at least 2 to 3 more games, finish at 9-8, 10-7. I feel like we should be able to do that within these last 6 games, especially due to the fact that we don't have the hardest schedule going forward. So we'll see what happens. Like I said, we should be able to beat Dallas on Sunday, as bad as they are. But we'll see what happens, man. I think we can make the playoffs still. So hopefully we can make it.
All right, Simon, thanks so much.
No problem.
And let's get a look at our 3-day weather forecast. Tonight will be partly cloudy. Tomorrow will be sunny and breezy with a high of 61. Sunday will be mostly sunny with a high of 81 and low of 43. Monday, it's going to be mostly sunny and we warm up to a high of 68. And for our community calendar, tomorrow evening, the Bowie Library is hosting Self-Publishing 101, turning your book into a reality. Author Cindy Freeland will guide you through the process of self-publishing using Ingram Spark, a free platform. And this workshop is ideal for anyone looking to self-publish their book and gain practical insights into the process. This event takes place this Saturday from 1 to 2 p.m. But for more information, contact 240-455-5451. That's all the time we have. Thanks so much for joining us. Have a great weekend.
Good night, everybody. See you on Monday.
An official message from Medicare.
I usually love plot twists, but this year I'm comparing my options during Medicare open enrollment.
You don't want any surprises. You can't assume your current health or drug plan is the best one for you.
And make sure your prescriptions are covered. That's important.
And save some money.
Paperbacks and saving bucks? I like that.
Review your coverage and compare your health options at Medicare.gov. Open enrollment ends December 7th. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.